Hello everybody, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. We're tracking Hurricane Florence as it heads towards the eastern United States, Super Typhoon Manghut, which is heading towards the Philippines and potentially Hong Kong. And we're also looking at a warm phase of weather that's coming in towards New Zealand, which is certainly not quite as extreme as the other first two issues I mentioned. But let's get into it and start off with those warmer winds. So the Westerlies in New Zealand, they're kicking back in again, and that means the temperatures in the east are going to continue to go up. We've already been seeing the 20-degree mark being reached. I think we'll see that a little bit more in these eastern areas, but there's a bit of cloud trapped underneath that high, anticyclonic gloom, making for a bit of a cloudy start to the day in some areas, and then that might sort of linger on a wee bit over the next couple of days, which is just one of those side effects of having a westerly at this time of the year. So as we get in towards Friday, the high is still in charge, so there's still a bit of cloud around the north, but a bit of a breeze blowing through, so that might actually make for some sunnier spells on Friday. The winds will also obviously push up the temperatures along the eastern side, and there are a few showers on the western side as well, mostly down on the South Island. To Saturday, no real change, still a few showers down here. The winds are picking up. Look at these nor'westers coming in though. This is what's going to push temperatures up even further as we go in towards Sunday. On Saturday, the winds are light, but they will be picking up as the day goes on. And once you get to Sunday, look at the isobars there, all the way up to about the lower North Island. So that means the winds are coming back in again, and it'll be quite windy on Sunday through the South Island. Temperatures will be pushed up into the low 20s around many areas, and it's going to be much warmer than average for most places. But on the west coast, obviously there's some rain coming through there, and maybe a couple of showers might just come into Taranaki and maybe also right up around Northland as well. Let's get to next week. This is Monday, and there's a little bit of a southerly coming into the South Island, a cold front, very weak one in there. The North Island's not too unsettled, it's actually quite nice, and there might still be quite a mild northerly wind coming through. A little bit of wet weather over on the East Cape side, but there is a low up there to the north. This is a bit of a new development, and so as we get in towards Tuesday, this is what the current models are saying. Now this was not in the forecast a couple of days back. You got this big high out to the west, another one to the east. I wouldn't 100% lock that in, but we do think something is happening around Tuesday just north of New Zealand. Okay, let's move overseas now, and we're heading to the Atlantic to start with, Hurricane Florence, and the news is not good for South Carolina in particular, but also North Carolina over in this area. The storm is expected to turn like this and basically come in to the inland part, and where the mountains and hills are, it just stops and all the rain falls. And we're already seeing totals now maybe of 500 millimeters, so that is a lot. So this is the new model, and you can see it turns. The new tracking takes it right in to South Carolina. This is a serious storm. The rain is going to be a major problem, and storm surge. There are a lot of buildings, a lot of homes and businesses on the coastal front here, right down on the actual beaches. In fact, there are some houses that are built in the beach, on the sand, separate from the land almost. So this is going to be a very serious situation. And now we head over into the Pacific Ocean, East Asia, and we've got a typhoon to deal with, a super typhoon, and this is pushing in towards the Philippines, and a little bit later on it might be heading towards Hong Kong, as you can see there. So this is a major storm, and Manghut is a super typhoon now, which means it's right at the high level, very extreme. Hopefully it just goes a little north of the Philippines. That would be great. It would really save a lot of damage, a lot of stress for a lot of people if it can just go a little bit further north. But obviously the leftovers are going to end up over towards some very populated places. So either way, about 10 million people on the path of that super typhoon. This is the peak of the tropical storm season in the Northern Hemisphere. It's kind of normal, but also our thoughts are with everybody, obviously in the firing lines of these major storms, and there are other ones out there as well. These are just the two big ones right now. That is all from me. We'll update you again on Friday.